Hello, we're with Michael Dwork, who's the founder and CEO of VerTerra products. And VerTerra makes dishware from fallen leaves, so it's a sustainable product. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Patrick.
So Michael, tell us about the product and how it got started.
Um, sure. And I think the best way to really start out is to think of dishware for what it really is. And it's since caveman times, been a separator between what you're eating and your hand in order to keep it clean. And when you look at a product in its simplest way, and then you start to say, what what else can it be? That's really what we were doing. So I had been living in different parts of Asia for quite a while, and I started seeing a lot of things that were influencing me, and everything from a banana leaf thali in India to a betel nut wrap product in Thailand to different bamboo leaf products in China, and seeing all these things and saying, at the end of the day, these are the equivalent of plate, bowl, whatever term we want to put on it. And then I really started getting captivated by the idea of using leaves as the separator between your food and your hand. And once we sort of had that, once I had that realization, I brought a few people in to start examining this with me, and we started playing around with different leaf types that we could then use to create sort of the hand food barrier. And as we did that, we started making lots of strides forward, and ended up finding a mixture of a few different leaf types that, when put together, form an extremely rigid material that we can make into something that everyone easily recognizes as a plate. It happens to be quite attractive, and works extremely well.
Where does your company get the leaves from?
Sure. Mostly in India, but we do a few other things in other areas of South Asia. We source as much as we can from organic farms, but we also do a lot of work with small local farms that will do spot checks of their material just to make sure there are no herbicides, pesticides, things like that. And it's been really amazing to see the change that's happened. Sort of this leaf collection idea is interesting because traditionally the leaves were burnt by the farmers, and we get them to continue to collect them, but then we pick them up, and just creating all this employment around something as simple as raking leaves has been very inspirational for us.
So some of the benefits environmentally are the leaves aren't being burnt, instead they're being collected and reused, and you're creating jobs. Uh, the leaves are being transported from Asia to the U.S. What about that environmental impact?
Um, I, Everything has an impact, and we really have tried to be as thoughtful as possible. For our domestic shipping, we spoke for quite a while with UPS and FedEx to determine optimal box size to fit on their racks. And when it came down to shipping from Asia to the US, I knew that was going to be a hot button issue for a lot of people, and we spoke to a major shipping company. We had them work with us to figure out what the impact per container would be of bringing it from our factory door to our warehouse in the US. And once the analysis was done, we determined that the total impact of that container is less than driving a truck from New York to Boston. So once we found that out, we felt a lot less bad saying, yes, it's a multi-thousand-mile transit, but because there's so many containers on that boat, and ships are so efficient in their fuel usage, that it's 300 miles.
Tell us a little bit about the production and the sustainability of the production of these plates.
Sure. Well, like I said before, we use fallen leaves exclusively as the raw material source. Our factory only uses steam, heat, and pressure under heavyweight press to form the materials. It's a little bit more complicated than just soaking some leaves and pressing them together. It's a fairly intricate process, but we really focus on minimal energy usage and recycling of the water that we're using so that we have as low an impact as we possibly can. It also winds up helping our production methods because things like energy and water are, in India especially, very, very scarce resources, and using them as efficiently as possible is important. The trucks that we use, we make sure they're all low petroleum gas trucks, which is sort of the equivalent of of biodiesel in India, and when we bring it over, we bring it, like I said, as optimal sized as we can for distribution.
Now, I've seen your plates, and for people who are watching this video who haven't, they're beautiful. They actually are very. They almost look like they're artisan plates, even though I assume they're mass produced. Who are the customers for these products?
So far, it's been a lot of event planners, caterers. We've done hundreds of weddings. In fact, just last month we passed the 500th wedding that we have been involved in some way. A lot of large events, quite a few fairly good and large-sized companies. We did some work for a bunch of the entertainment and technology companies, and a lot of the more forward-thinking and progressive companies out there really seem to enjoy our products, and we're excited to keep working with them.
And how do companies typically find your products? What sort of marketing are you doing, or is it PR based?
We have never spent any money on marketing. I initially put up a one-page website that almost immediately started getting a couple hundred hits a day, and people were emailing me off of the website saying, your product looks so cool, I want to buy it. And I had that site up well before I was ready to sell, and started taking back orders. And then once we started fulfilling the orders, it's one of these things, no one ever thinks about the plate that they're using, especially if it's a single-use item. But when you have a product that I don't know if it's because of the way it looks or the way it feels or the fact that it is so unbelievably durable, but once again, the end of life is it's fully compostable and will be gone in a matter of 1 or 2 months. People really interact with the product, and once people have used it, they seem to come back. And a lot of times when we do a wedding of 200-300 people, I might get 15 to 20 orders from that wedding of people saying, I was so happy with this product, I want to use it for my son's graduation or my daughter's sweet 16 or whatever it is, and it's a lot of fun.
I never would have thought there'd be viral marketing with plates used at weddings and events. Is there an issue with running out of the leaves that you use as the raw materials?
Not so far as I can see. Right now there's a significant amount of the raw material out there. The leaves shed very regularly. They're not typical deciduous trees like we have in North America. We use palms, so there's year-round shedding, and we actually collect well in advance so that we can always be meeting demand right now.
Michael, do you regard your product as a green product?
I think the word green really reflects a lifestyle choice, and I don't know that any one product or anything really can be green. I sort of divide the umbrella of green into different camps. A camp of organic, a camp of locally produced, a camp of sustainably produced, and a camp of fair trade. And because locally produced and fair trade are in many ways opposites, fair trade being focused on job creation in developing nations, and locally produced normally meaning supporting your local farmers, I think everyone needs to have a balance between those two. And for our product, it just would never make sense to make it in the U.S. We don't have the raw material stock. So for us, we had to focus on international developing country. And because of that, we follow the fair trade standards and really try to even go above and beyond as much as we can in really not just paying and supporting our workers, but being a part of their life in a lot of ways. The product itself, I can't imagine anything more sustainably produced. You're talking fallen leaves that we're preventing from being burnt, very low energy factory, really a lot of consideration across the board in how we're going to ship it, how we're going to package it, how we're going to move it, and then the end of life. I mean, this product is compostable home composting in 60 to 70 days, in industrial about 40. So it really is a good product, and it happens to be oven, microwave safe, and a lot more attractive than your standard disposable.
Well, I appreciate all the thoughtfulness you put into this product and its sustainability. Thanks, Michael, so much for this interview.
Thank you, Patrick.